What happens when a man who swore he'd never let the past touch his family accidentally builds the very trap that could destroy them? What happens when a courtroom defense quietly collapses from the inside, not because the lawyer failed, but because the people who were supposed to protect the truth were the ones who buried it? And what happens when two of the most scheming women in a town built on scheming decide to build a honeypot around one of the most powerful men in the room using nothing but a swimsuit and a lie? Nobody saw it coming. The public had no idea. The story is about to become even stranger. Welcome to Soap Pulse. I'm Anderson. If you love the slow burn, the courtroom ambush, and the conspiracy undercurrents that keep longtime fans up at night, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, share this with somebody who lives for daytime drama, and if you have not already, hit subscribe because the next 2 weeks on the canvas are going to reward the people paying close attention. Now, let's get into it. Right now, somewhere inside the machinery of one of the longest-running drama series in American television history, multiple storylines are quietly converging, and according to early spoilers surfacing among the show's most reliable insiders, they are converging in ways that even the most obsessive viewers did not see coming. This is not a recap. This is what old-school fans call the part that comes before the recap, the part where you can see the pieces of the puzzle being carried into the same room while everyone is still standing on the platform, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The next 2 weeks are not just another stretch of episodes. According to early spoilers, they are a hinge, a moment where almost every major character is moved by something they themselves set in motion, and that is the rarest and most dangerous kind of storytelling in daytime. Let's start with Michael Corinthos, because his name belongs at the top of this. By every public record in recent months, Michael has been moving through one crisis after another: an ex-wife whose actions he openly questions, a current wife whose loyalties are increasingly under the microscope, and a business empire being circled by people who smile at him in the dining room and sharpen knives in the hallway. The early spoilers suggest that he is about to be hit with something he unintentionally unleashed. That phrase matters. It is not a deliberate mistake. It is the kind of mistake that happens when you pull on a single thread of hatred towards someone you once loved, and you do not realize the thread is attached to 2 other people, and those 2 people are now standing on the other side of the room watching the entire fabric unravel. According to insiders who track the show beat by beat, what is coming is a moment of genuine reckoning. Michael is described in the spoilers as being appalled, and in the language of this canvas, appalled means something deeper than anger. It means he is confronting the fact that he did not just hurt the woman he was trying to hurt. He hurt the people inside her circle, and now those people are inside his circle, and there is no clean way to separate them. Parallel to that, according to spoilers circulating widely in the fan press, Lucy Coe and a woman named Serena are scheming together, and the target of that scheme is Michael himself. The early description of the scheme reads like a classic trap. Bobby's Diner. 2 women, a comment about hitting the jackpot, a very deliberate suggestion that Serena go pick out her most seductive swimsuit. Then a public encounter at the Metro Court where Michael is described as smiling, the kind of smile that older fans know to be wary of, because the smile almost always belongs to the person being led into something rather than the person setting it. The promotional material fans are dissecting frame by frame suggests Serena will face off with Michael while Lucy watches from a distance, and the framing of the promo, the angle, the lighting, the staging, points strongly toward a honeypot. The purpose, according to speculation, is exploitation. What they want from Michael is unclear to the casual audience, but anyone who has tracked Lucy over the decades of this show knows she does not run plays like this for trivial reasons. The play has a future. But the trick to reading spoilers in the modern era is to understand where one storyline hands the baton to another, because the writers of this show almost never run one isolated problem per week. They braid them. And that is exactly what is happening here, because while Serena and Lucy are laying a trap for Michael Justinda, the woman who is now publicly, emotionally, financially, and legally entangled with Michael over the question of his son, is running a parallel operation of her own against Willow. And this is where the first truly bizarre development of the sweep begins. According to early spoilers, Justinda is moving with a quiet impatience that fans have been picking up on for weeks. She wants Willow out of Michael's life. She knows Willow is actively pursuing more custody of Wiley. And according to the insiders who have been leaking beats long before air, Justinda plans to take matters into her own hands in a way that seasoned watchers of the show are not taking lightly. The promotional material apparently shows a small bag of pills, and the situation reportedly becomes so alarming that Nina, who has never been a fan of Justinda, to put it mildly, asks her daughter a very direct question. The reported quote, "What did you do?" is being read as a sign that Justinda is about to cross a line that nobody in her family can quietly walk back. Nina has spent years surviving the consequences of other people's reckless plays. She knows exactly what that question sounds like when it has to be asked. And if Justinda has drugged Willow or framed Willow or created an environment where Willow loses credibility, the fallout is going to land in the exact same hallway where Willow is trying to win a custody case, and Justinda may not realize she is handing Nina the very ammunition she has always needed to destroy her. At the same time, in the same building, in the same news cycle, Jack Brennan is reportedly meeting Willow at the Metro Court and allegedly telling her it is time to take things to the next level. And this is the part of the story where you have to lean in, because what is being described is not simple romance. Jack Brennan is a man widely believed to be operating with Nina's blessing, and he is allegedly engaging with Willow in a way that fans are interpreting as direct coordination between him and Nina to hurt Michael through the mother of his child. In other words, three unrelated rooms: Lucy with Serena, Justinda with Nina, and Jack with Willow, all pointing at the same target. The question insiders are quietly asking is whether Michael is going to recognize that the attacks are coordinated before they land, or whether the realization is going to arrive in the moment he sees his own life turned inside out. Now, that is a lot of activity, and it might be enough to fill an entire broadcast all by itself, but the early spoilers outline at least three other major arcs running in parallel, and the second one might be the most legally consequential storyline of the entire run. Curtis Ashford is in court, and according to insiders who have been covering this story, his trial is not going the way he was promised it would. The setup, in summary, was this. Curtis was charged in connection with an alleged assault on Isaiah, a man whose reputation in the show's universe has been quietly sliding for some time, but who still commands a great deal of respect in the church and civic communities. The defense team put together by the people closest to Curtis included an alliance with Drew Kane, a man whose motivations virtually nobody in the audience trusts. Drew rarely does anything out of the goodness of his heart, and viewers have been saying that publicly for years, and the spoilers suggest this stretch is going to vindicate that skepticism. According to the leaked beats, Drew tells Curtis he has a strategy that will give Curtis an advantage over Isaiah in court. The strategy is, in essence, a trap for the PCPD, a trap that will allegedly make Detective Joe and Ada Turner look foolish by, as spoilers suggest, draining their primary suspect, Willow, away from them. That is meant to weaken the prosecution's case. But here is where the story doubles back on itself. Inside the same courtroom supporting Curtis are Jordan, Stella, Marshall, and several other people who care deeply about what happens to him. Sitting on the other side, according to the early descriptions, is Portia, allegedly visible and reportedly stressed. And Martin, the defense attorney in the case, is reportedly preparing to do something that fans have been speculating about for weeks. He is reportedly preparing, sitting at counsel, to bring up the accident that nearly killed Jordan and Curtis in the first place. The theory, according to the show's own rumor ecosystem, is that Martin may attempt to argue that Isaiah, not Curtis, was the driver who left the two men for dead in that crash. There is no evidence to support that theory according to public reports, and insider commentary has been careful to point out the judge may not allow the line of questioning, but the fact that it is being floated at all indicates how desperate the defense is becoming. Critics watching the developments argue that the move is going to backfire spectacularly. Supporters of Curtis argue it is the only card Martin has left. Both sides, as is so often the case in this world, have valid points. What makes the Curtis storyline especially strange is the role that Brooklyn is quietly playing in its foundation. According to public commentary circulating among the soap press, Brooklyn is essentially to blame for Curtis's assault on Isaiah in the first place because she held back information at a critical moment. If Brooklyn had told the truth from the start, the insiders argue, the entire sequence of Isaiah being accused and Curtis escalating would never have unfolded. The adoption is now finished. The baby is, by every official account available, safe, but Tracy is not having it. According to spoilers, Tracy is reported to have told Brooklyn something along the lines of, "Without the baby, you need to get out of town." Readers of the show's decades-long psychology will understand exactly what that line is doing. Tracy is not threatening Brooklyn. Tracy is acknowledging that the only thing keeping Brooklyn in the room was the child, and once the child is legally placed with a family, the leverage Brooklyn might otherwise have disappears. Tracy is, in her own quiet way, indicating she expects Brooklyn to crack under pressure and tell the truth about what she did, and she is signaling her belief that when that moment arrives, it will land on Curtis. The early spoilers hint that the courtroom is where that pressure is going to peak, and Curtis is reportedly going to panic as things turn against him. There is language in the insider descriptions about Isaiah having things looking up, possibly involving reconstructive surgery on his hand, and the cases against Curtis going in directions that could lead to prison time and a significant payout. None of that has been confirmed on air, but the framing from insiders is consistent with a courtroom storyline that is about to swing hard against the defendant. Now look at what is happening over on the east side of town with Sonny, Ava, Ethan, and the very strange alliance forming around the legal question of a baby named Phoebe. According to insiders, Sonny is reported to confront Ava about where Ethan went. Ethan, in real-world terms, has been written off the canvas. The actor playing the recast role has publicly, according to widely reported industry news, exited the show. A new face was in the role for a relatively brief stretch, and the character's narrative exit was finalized. Inside the world of the show, the leak describes Ava being asked by Sonny to explain Ethan's disappearance, and Ava reportedly turning the accusation around on Sonny. According to insider speculation, Ava may believe Ethan ran because of mob entanglement, and Sonny may believe Ava pushed him out with her own personal chaos. The two of them blaming one another is consistent with the long-running pattern of this character pair, but the truly unusual development is the alliance forming on top of it. According to spoilers, Hudson, a name that longtime viewers are now connecting to a legacy character whose relevance to the canvas is being quietly expanded in the current cycle, is reportedly considering an alliance with Ava. Hudson's motivation, as described by the leak, is that he overheard something in a conversation with Ethan and now suspects that Ava knows far more than she has admitted about his biological child. He wants that child. The baby in question is Phoebe, and according to early material, all it would take to undo the adoption is a single DNA test. Think about that for a moment. A child who is currently believed to be securely placed inside a family may, as a direct result of a single test, find herself at the center of a custody war between a woman with Ava's history of self-preservation and a man with Hudson's emerging legacy. And right next to that storyline is the question of what is happening with Sonny's operation generally. According to the leak, Sonny makes a shocking announcement later in the sweep. The reported content is that Jason has quit working for him. That is a huge line of text in a world where Sonny's apparatus has been the silent backbone of half the show's most consequential storylines for decades. The implication, according to insiders, is that Sonny is going to lean harder on Rick, and Rick is going to be, in the show's own word, thrilled. After a long stretch of being professionally sidelined, Rick has been waiting for an opening. He may just have gotten it, and the bigger picture for the viewer is what Rick does with it, especially given the lane he has been forced to watch happen from the outside for months. The other storyline that insiders are watching very closely is what is happening with Anna, Britt, and the long shadow of Peter. According to early spoilers, Ghost Peter, a narrative device the show has used before for characters who died on screen but whose influence continues to haunt the people who loved them, is reportedly being deployed again to push Anna. The reported effect is that Anna is being told, in some form, that if Britt is alive, Anna will always be in danger. The word living, the question of whether an old character is in fact breathing somewhere the audience cannot see, has long been one of the show's favorite conspiracies, and this sweep appears to be quietly raising it again. Anna, who has spent years being one of the most patient investigators in the daytime canon, is reportedly being scared. That word, scared, has been used repeatedly in the insider descriptions. Anna reuniting with Jordan during the sweep, according to the leak, gives the show an excuse to bring back the conversation about the second driver in the original crash. Jordan has long wondered if Isaiah might have been the other driver. Anna is capable of opening that door from the official side. The question fans are asking is how far she is willing to go, with or without Jordan asking, and whether the writers will finally show their hand on a mystery they have been teasing for what feels like an eternity. Then there is the question of Laura, Kevin, and the small, quietly devastating storyline playing out in Ireland. According to spoilers, Laura has an update about Kevin. The update is reportedly going to include a divorce. Industry coverage of this element is unusually pointed. The actor who has played Kevin for years has been confirmed, in widely reported entertainment news, to be working on another show in a meaningful recurring role that the fans who follow the broader soap world have already been watching closely. He is not leaving quietly. He is leaving loudly, and the canvas writers know exactly what they have available. The reported angle is that Laura goes to Ireland, visits Kevin and their son Ace, and comes home alone. A divorce on this show is rarely just paperwork. A divorce in this family almost always implies a moment of emotional collapse in the woman who has spent decades quietly holding the family together. For longtime watchers, that is not a spoiler. That is a hinge. And finally, there is the strange romance of Jack and Nina. According to insider material, the two of them are reportedly heating up, and the press around them is interesting because both of them, in this storyline's own framing, are going into the relationship with eyes wide open. They know who each other is. They know the other one schemes. They have chosen to scheme together. Fans are calling it a match made in hell, and that is probably the most apt phrase anyone has used to describe this pairing in years. The romance is not simple attraction. It is a coordinated play, and what they are coordinating around is Willow and Michael. Both Jack and Nina want Michael punished for the way they have each been wronged. Both of them think the other is the perfect partner to do it with. Both of them are probably wrong about that, and the show will, according to every indication fans have, let that realization unfold at the worst possible time for both of them. There is one more story quietly running through this sweep that nobody is talking about yet, and that is the story of Emma, Gio, and Trina, and the suggestion that a man named Simon is trying to engineer a marketing romance between Trina and Gio for reasons that have nothing to do with genuine affection. The reported worry for Emma is whether her relationship with Gio can survive the kind of pressure that comes when a career or an industry starts reshaping who a person is allowed to be seen with in public. The reported worry, secondarily, is whether Simon himself is the person stalking Trina or whether it is someone else close to him, possibly a name associated with Quinn. This is the kind of storyline that longtime fans know to track carefully because it almost always has a second act that is far more serious than the first. And then there is Rick, Dante, and Liz, the triangle that has been quietly assembling for the better part of a season. According to the spoiler material, Rick is being pushed to the edge by the fact that Liz turned him down for a date and then stayed in the park talking to Dante. The wrinkle that insiders are teasing is that Dante is Sonny's son. That detail matters because it puts Rick in one of the most uncomfortable positions a man like Rick can be in. He cannot lash out at someone in the family. He has to be strategic. He has to be careful. And Rick, by the show's own psychological logic, is rarely at his best when he has to be careful. Pull all of these pieces together. Michael, reeling from a trap he helped set without knowing he helped set it. Serena and Lucy closing in. Justinda and Nina circling. Jack pushing on Willow. Curtis in a courtroom he does not understand, with a defense team he does not fully trust, against a judge he cannot read, with a secret witness who knows exactly what she is hiding. Sonny losing Jason, leaning on Rick in a way that may permanently tip the order in the warehouse. Ava and Hudson lining up over a baby whose future may hang on a single test. Anna being pushed by the ghost of a man who tried to destroy her life once already. Laura crossing an ocean to come home without her husband. Jack and Nina forming what may be the most openly adversarial romance the show has ever drawn. Emma worrying about what industry pressure will do to the man she loves. Trina possibly being stalked. Rick calculating his next move with the kind of restraint that almost never ends well for Rick. None of this is confirmed on air. All of it is consistent with what insiders are describing. But viewed together, the shape of the next 2 weeks on this canvas is no longer ambiguous. It is a slow, deliberate convergence. The pieces are walking into the same room. The exits are getting smaller. The writing on the wall is getting louder, and the audience, The longtime fans who have been tracking every frame of every promo, every casting rumor, every set side by side, every interview, every offhand comment by a writer, they are seeing it now in a way they have not seen in a very long time. The story does not feel like an episode sweep. It feels like a staged detonation, and the countdown has already started. Thank you for being here. I am Anderson. This has been Soap Pulse. If this kind of breakdown is the kind of thing you want every single time a new wave of spoilers drops, you know what to do. Subscribe, share, and come back tomorrow, because the next thing we are tracking is going to be stranger than this one, and we are not going to miss a single